Putting all of the angles on the unit circle is going to be something that is very, very important. We need to be able to know where all of those angles are in both degrees and radians. We did a previous lesson on how to put all of the angles in degrees on the unit circle. So today we're going to concentrate on the radians, and it starts with remembering that the angles go 30, 45, 60, and that 30 degrees is pi over 6, 45 degrees is pi over 4, 60 degrees is pi over 3, and pi over 2 is our last one. It's going to take some patterning, but I think that you'll be able to get the hang of this pretty quickly. So let's look at a blank unit circle here and see if we can understand what's going on. So we're going to start by putting the three main angles and the pi over 2 onto this unit circle. So this first line is 30 degrees. So that means it is our pi over 6 angle line. The second angle up splits that entire quadrant exactly in half. Well, what is half of 90 degrees? That's 45 degrees. And that gives us our pi over 4 angle. And then our third one is again 60 degrees. Well, that is our pi over 3 angle. And then when we go straight up, that is going to be 90 degrees or pi over 2. We can also remember that this starts at 0 degrees or 0 radians will be on the positive x-axis. Now, I like to do the north, south, east, west first. So if this guy right here is 90 degrees, which is pi over 2, then this down here is 180, which is 2 pi over 2's, which is pi. And then down in the denominator, this is going to be 3 pi over 2's. That gets us to this angle down here. And then we will finish off our unit circle going a full circle worth of radians. Well, what was a full circle worth of radians? Do we remember? Yep, that is 2 pi radians. So we can get on the main up, down, left, rights. Now, let's look at how this, there's a trick that's going to help us learn how to put all of the rest of these on. So I call this quadrant is the, you just got to memorize it quadrant. But there are tricks. The quadrant 2, I call the plus or the -1 quadrant. Quadrant 3 is the +1 quadrant. And quadrant 4 is the 2n-1 quadrant. And let's see how this is going to work. So the first thing that you're going to notice is that if we take this dot of the pi over 6 and we go straight to the left, straight down, straight to the right, and then back up, we have made a rectangle. All of the angles on this rectangle will have a denominator of 6. So this is going to have a denominator of 6. But how many pi over 6's did we have to go to get to this point here? Well, we went 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pi over 6's to get to this line. So this is the angle 5 pi over 6. Notice that that is just take the denominator 6 and subtract 1. Thus, it's in the -1 quadrant. Well, if this is 5 pi over 6's, then we have 6 pi over 6's. 7 pi over 6 will be this guy. So 7 pi over 6 is how we label this corner of the rectangle. And notice it's the denominator +1. So we're at 7 pi over 6, 8 pi over 6, 9, 10, 11 pi over 6 is how we're going to label our last fraction over here. It takes 11 pi over 6's to get to this last one. And notice, what is 12 times 2, or what is 6 times 2 minus 1? 12 minus 1 is 11. And so that's how we're going to quickly be able to label our angles using radians. So let's try this with the next denominator, which is pi over 4. If we go straight across, straight down, straight over, and straight back up, all of these guys will have denominators of a 4. But this is our minus 1. So a denominator of 4 here, 4 minus 1 is 3. This is the angle 3 pi over 4. Quadrant 3 is the plus 1 angle. So we have a denominator of 4. 4 plus 1 is 5. This is the angle 5 pi over 4. Our last denominator of 4, we do 2 times 4, which is 8, minus 1 is 7 pi over 4. And we have just labeled all of our pi over 4 angles. Let's finish it off by using our pi over 3 angles. Remember, we're going to draw that rectangle, and you'll get to the point where you don't have to physically draw the rectangle, but the first couple times it's helpful to have that. All right. Okay. Our minus 1, what is 3 minus 1? That's 2. So this is 2 pi over 3. What is 3 plus 1? Well, that is 4. So down here we get 4 pi over 3. And then 3 times 2 minus 1. 3 times 2 is 6. Minus 1 is 5. So our last angle is 5 pi over 3. So if you just memorize these quick tricks, you can see we now have all of these angles labeled. Go ahead, get yourself a blank unit circle and try labeling these. You will need to memorize how to label all of these in that order.